Hi, this is Yvonne. I'm going to show you how to make Freddy Kruegar. He's actually really easy and straightforward, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to make his hat just a little bit taller though, because it should be just a little bit bigger. Again, of course, I never seem to count the elastics I use. I just kind of pull them all out to use them. But his hat is brown or dark brown, burgundy brown, whatever dark brown you want to use. For his face, we're using skin tone in fuchsia. And you'll need 3 white bands, 2 for his eyes and 1 for his mouth. You'll need, I used metallic silver, or you can use gray, whatever, for his knives, which we do last. And green and red for his shirt, and black for his pants. And there's also a little bit of brown on his boots. So we can get started. Okay, so right now we're going to start with the brim of our hat. So the whole project takes 2 bands. It's all double bands except for his neck and his boots. Okay, so we'll put 2 bands there and 2 bands here, and of course you have to make 2 of these. We'll cap it 4 times, 1, 2, 3, for 4 loops, and then you put 2 on this side, and then you want to cap it again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have to make his arms. So for his arms, there's 2 dark green, 2 red, 2 dark green, and 2 red, and a skin tone and a fuchsia. It doesn't matter which one you put on first. Then you take another skin tone and fuchsia, and we are going to cap this 4 times for his hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course he has 2 arms, so we're going to make the other one with 2 green, 2 red, 2 green, 2 red, except this time we're going to use 2 black for his glove, and we're going to take 2 black and we're going to cap that 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you can loop up. Sorry. You can loop up. So just grab the bottom 2 bands. Be careful because it's a little tight. And just loop it forward. And if it's tight, you can just loosen it a little. The 2 bands and go up, 2 bands and go up, 2 bands and go up, 2 bands and go up. Same with down here, bottom 2 bands, pull them and pull them up and release the pressure. 2 bands and go up, 2 bands and go up, 2 bands and go up, 2 bands and go up. And you do the same thing with the brim of his hat. Just grab the bottom 2 bands and just loop them forward. Okay, and now you can take them off and put them aside. On your holding hooks or whatever you use to hold your extra pieces. And same with the arms, just take them off. And you can straighten his hands out a little bit because it kind of goes a little wonky when you use 2 bands for his hands. And then you can put these aside for later. Okay, so we're going to do his body separate from his head just because it's easier that way, and just in case the hat's a little too big and I don't know, kind of fits on the loom better. So you're going to take a skin color, a fuchsia, and a skin color, because for the neck I always use 3 bands to make it a little more sturdy. Okay, and for his shoulders, it's 2 bands, 2 red, sorry. And his other shoulder is also 2 red. And then the next row will be with 2 green in every row. So the left, 2 green, the middle, 2 green, and the right, 2 green, because he has a striped sweater. And now the next row is going to be 2 red. And watch that they don't get too twisted. Okay, 2 red. And there's another 2 red. And then 2 green. 2 green. 2 green. And then there's one more row of 2 red, 2 red, and 2 red. And then we start on his pants, which I'm going to do in black. So 2 black, 2 black, 2 black, and make it another row of 2 black, 2 black, and 2 black. And then we start his leg portion. So 2 black, 2 black, 2 black, 2 black. But the bottom one is going to be his boot. So his boots, you're going to use three blacks. And then do the same thing for the other side. Two blacks, two black, two black. Sorry, am I off camera? There we go. Two black. And then the bottom one is his boots, so we will do three blacks. So 1, 2, 3. So, actually, sorry, I'm going to change one of those. I'm going to make the middle band, sorry, the middle band's going to be brown on his boot. So I'm just going to change one band to brown. And you push the bands down, and then you're going to take a black and a brown, and we're going to cap the bottom for 3 loops. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to push it down, and then you're going to grab another black and brown, and you're going to do it again. So we're capping twice. 1, 2, 3. And then do the same on the other side. 1, 2, 3, and then push it down, and grab another black and a brown, and go 1, 2, 3. Okay. And now you can add his arms. I'm pretty sure it says right hand that has the glove, so, or sorry, his left hand. His left hand has the glove, see? So you can just add his arms onto these 2 pegs. And we can put on our holding bands. Okay, so for the holding bands, I used a red, and I did a single, and then I twisted it, and then I just brought it back to the middle peg. Then I'll use a green one, and I'll do the same thing. And then I'm going to grab a red, and I'm going to do it again. Sorry, half twist, half twist. Okay, now I'm going to use a black. And then I'm going to use another black. 1, 2, 3, 4. For this one we're going to actually do the single double. And then I also want to take one, and I'm going to put it on this peg here, and I'm going to pull it up and over and pull it down to this one. Just find it kind of turns out better that way. Okay, so after all that, I think we're ready to loop it. So just grab your hook, and be careful, because with all the capping bands it makes it really tight. And don't forget you have 3 bands that you have to grab to loop up. So just grab them, pull them up carefully so you don't break any of your bands. And then you can release the tension and do the same thing to the other side. 2, 3. And release the tension. There. Now you can just loop forward like normal. And don't forget to go behind the holding bands. Don't loop them accidentally. And just keep going forward, forward, forward. And forward. And forward. And sorry, am I off camera again? I'm still getting used to this, sorry. You go forward. When you get to the shoulder peg, stop. Don't loop up the shoulder yet because we need the red to be on top of the green. So you go back to the beginning of this side and start looping this side up. Behind the holding band. Oops. Just keep looping up, 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 until you get to the shoulder, and then you stop. Then you go back down, and we're going to loop up the middle. Just be careful with the holding bands because you don't want to accidentally grab any of them. So when you get to the top, just loop up this green one and then go back inside the arm to grab the bottom 2 shoulder bands and bring those forward. And don't forget to push your bands down. Okay, and then after you do that, you go in and you loop up the neck. Don't forget it's 3 bands, so make sure you grab all 3. And then double check your work to make sure it's all teardrops. And make sure you remember to grab every band. And then that's it. We can take him off of the loom. Okay, and there's your little Freddy Kruegar body so far. Okay, so you can just, if you want, you can just temporarily hook them to the bottom of your loom since the head is not going to go down that far. He can stay there. Okay, so now we can do the hat. So the way I do his hat is because it's almost got like a cowboyish thing to it at the top where it dips in. So we're going to take 2 brown and we're going to start at the middle center peg and go diagonal upwards to the first pin. And then we're going to take 2 bands and do the same thing on the other side. Don't forget to push your bands down. So now we're going to take 2 bands and we're going to go down 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. And then we're going to do the same thing in the middle, except in the middle we come down twice. And it's all 2 bands. Now we're going to switch to our face color. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cold, getting a little raspy. Okay, so you can kind of alternate because Freddy is kind of burned up and scarred kind of thing, which is why I used fuchsia instead of red, because he's not actually bleeding, he's just scarred. So you can alternate between the skin tone. There's 2 bands, so it's 2 skin tone. Or you can use the skin tone and the fuchsia. So you just kind of take turns adding the skin tone and the fuchsia any way you like, really. So here's I'm putting the fuchsia on the bottom and the skin tone on the top. And I'll put the skin tone in the middle, the fuchsia in the middle and the skin tone on top. And then I'll put 2 skin tones over here. And now we're going to turn into the middle, so you can just get 2 skin tones on this side. I'll put fuchsia and a skin tone on this side. And I'll put 2 skin tones there. Okay, so that's pretty much his face. So now you can add we can do his nose. So for his nose, you grab your hook. You take 1 skin tone and 1 fuchsia, put it on your hook, and wrap it 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 4 loops. And then you take 1 skin tone and slide all of these onto. It kind of makes his nose look a little big, but I guess it just depends on how you pop it out of his face. Like if you just pop it out a little bit, it's not so bad. And we're going to put it 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 5th peg from the top. Just straight across like that. And then make sure this goes kind of in the center. Okay, so now we're going to add the mouth. To add the mouth, I usually take this band here underneath the nose and I just kind of move it temporarily. And I take a white band and I wrap it just 1 time. And then I take the band that we moved and I put it back. Now we have to do the eyes. I use 2 black E-beads because I like the E-beads, and I use this little, it's like a fishing line or wire thing. I had it with some sort of jewelry kit for beads. So I tend to use that to do my beads. So you can probably use a mini pony bead, or if you don't have beads, you can use the elastics, and you can just wrap a black elastic around your hook 4 times and then pull it onto the, and then add a white band around each side, like wrapped twice on each side of it. Pretty much the same way I'm gonna do this. I'm not really good with the using elastic bands for eyes. That's why I switched to the beads, because I just found it a lot easier. I'm not really good at explaining stuff a lot either. But anyway, yeah, and these probably aren't going to cooperate for me, but it might take me a minute. There we go. And we'll just pull this onto here, and then grab the other one and do the same thing. Ah, it's not cooperating. There we go. And you just pull it onto the white. And you just kind of center it a little bit. And it doesn't have to be white. I think the first time I did Freddy Kruegar, I put the beads on the skin tone color so it kind of blended in with his face more, but I wanted to see how it looked with the white around his eyes, so I figured I'd try it this way this time. And then you take the white loop and put it on your hook, and you wrap it 1 time, and then put the other one on and wrap it 1 time and push it down. Then you grab your other one and put the loop on your hook, wrap it 1 time, put the other loop on your hook, wrap it 1 time, and push it down. And then you can grab the skin tone color, and you can pull all those loops onto the skin tone color. Okay, and then you add it to the 1, 2, 3, 4th peg from the top. Okay, and after you get it on there, just use your hook and separate the eyes a little. And I stick my hook down between the bands and I pull one over the top peg. It kind of keeps your eyes in place a lot better. Okay, now you can put the holding bands on. So it's just a single brown band to go across these 3. And then for the next one, I grab another brown band, and it's a single doubled. And then for the face, I take the skin tone color, and it's just a single. And same with the next one, around the nose, it's just a single. And then one more, it's another single. And then I just take my hook, and I take the holding band that's by the mouth, and I tuck it in under the white band to make it easier to pull the white band up, because it'll get in the way. My bands are twisted here. I'll just straighten them out a little. Okay. Now, before you forget, you can get the brim of your hat. Okay, the brim of your hat. And I attach it on the 3rd peg from the top. So just put it here. And take the other one and add it to the other side, so they stick out the sides there. And now you can take his body, and oops, you can add his body to your chin peg. Make sure you get all 6 bands on the peg, because it would kind of suck if you miss one and your whole project kind of comes apart. Okay, so now you're ready to loop. So now I just pull on the body a little so I can see the bands, and I go in and I grab the top 2 and I loop it up. I go in, I grab the next 2 and it goes to my left, and I go down, I grab the next 2 and it goes to the right. So now, before we forget, you go underneath and you grab the white bands and you pull it up and over. If you can't get both bands at the same time, doesn't matter, just pull them up one at a time as long as you get them. So now I'll go back in through here and I will grab the bottom 2 bands and just loop it straight forward. It's straightforward looping from here on, so just loop everything all the way up, down, grab the bottom 2, pull it forward, down, grab the bottom 2, pull it forward. When you get to this top one, of course, you grab the bottom band and you have to bring it around and down to the center peg. And don't forget to push your bands down or you're going to run out of room. Now do the right side. So go down, grab the bottom 2 bands, pull them up, down, grab the bottom 2 bands, pull them up. Watch you don't grab any of the holding bands or your eye bands or anything. Bottom 2 bands, pull them up, down, grab the bottom 2 bands and pull them up. Bottom 2 bands, pull them up. And then with this one, same as the other side, you pull it up and you pull it down to the middle peg. And now you do the middle of his face. I try to keep the nose in the middle, but it kind of moves wherever it seems to want to. I don't think it really, might have to get it after. But just keep looping them up. Loop it up. And loop it up. Now just double check, make sure you didn't miss anything and you got all the bands. Okay, I like to use 2 bands instead of 1, just because I have a 2-year-old son and he likes to somehow break the top band every time. So you just put your hook through the middle, bring it out through the side, grab the 2 bands, and then pull it back up and put it on your hook. Now with all the bands on your hook, you take the 2 closest bands that are close to you and just flip it over and then pull. And that's your slip knot to hold everything together. And now he can come off your loom. So just very carefully so you don't break any bands, you can pull him off the loom. Okay, you can just kind of stretch him out a little, poke his eyes in a little so you can fix them. You can fix them, fix his mouth. Then of course you can get your hook and unless you prefer to do it with your hand and try to pull parts of his nose out, because his face looks like it's all squashed up without his nose. My hook is stuck. Yeah, here's kind of, and of course because it's all 2 bands, it's just gonna look a little, it looks like it's going a little screwy. So I'll just kind of turn them a little and see if it makes them behave at all. And then I push it back in a little so it's not sticking out so much. Because sometimes it sticks out a little too much and then he looks a little funny. Okay, stretch his face a little, stretch his hat a little. You can hide the loops, which is what I usually do. You stick your hook up the back of his the back of his hat, and you can pull these loops straight down so that they're a little hidden. Although his hat still ended up a little small, but that's alright. Seemed to work a little bit. Let's see. You can also grab a marker, because when he smiles it looks really disgusting. So I think I got this tip from PG Loomis's zombie, because he did the mouth and he made it look like he had teeth. So you just kind of, my marker doesn't want to work. Just kind of put little lines going across the white band so it just looks like teeth, or make it look a little scarier, whatever. Make him look a little creepy, since he's not supposed to be cute, because it is Freddy Kruegar of all people. Okay, so that's that. And then you get your 4 silver bands. So now what I do is you get his black gloved hand. Sorry about that, had to pause my video for a minute. Anyways, to do his hands, you have to get his gloved hand and the 4 silver, gray, metallic, whatever you want to use that resemble knives, because he's got knives for fingers. So you can just put your hook, I'm going to use a smaller hook, put your hook through a few of his loops, which for some reason my hook can't seem to find. Just so it looks like, you know, whatever. Yeah, put your hook through his loops. And then you grab one of these, and don't forget you have to do this 4 times, so. Woo! I don't even know where that elastic went, so we will do this again. Okay. Pull this through and put it on your hook. And you can do it like a slip knot. Just try to slide it, because you have to have, like I said, 4 of them on there. Okay, so here, because it's all loopy and it looks kind of funny, what I do to straighten it out is I just take this part and I tie a knot. Sometimes it's easier to use the hook, so I wrap it around my finger. I put the hook under the part that's wrapped around my finger, and I grab the loops I grab the loops and I pull it through. Okay, now be careful because you want the knot as close to the tip as you can get. So like slide it, slide it, slide it. It's the only way I can get the elastic to go somewhat, see, somewhat straight. Okay, and then you do this again 3 more times. Put your hook through the loops. I usually put it through all his loops because since that's supposed to be his hand. Grab another one, pull it through, and then you can do another slip knot. And of course my band got twisted, there we go. So I do the same thing with this band, stretch it, put in a knot, make sure that knot goes as close to the tip as you can kind of get it. And there's the next knife. And you put it in again. And you grab another one. And you pull it through. And you slip knot it. And the same thing, just around your finger. I use my hook just because it seems to be easier to make the knot that way unless I let go of the elastic. And yes, it's a little tight, so just bear with it. I always have issues making knots. Okay, off my finger, pull it a little so you take the hook out, and then yeah, slide it as close to the tip as you can, and you can just tighten it. Doesn't really matter, it's just so that you can straighten. Okay, same thing for the last one. Pull it through, slip knot, okay, and same thing, just pull it around your finger. I guess that one should have been a little closer to the tip, but that's okay. And here's your Freddy Kruegar. Except his knives are not cooperating. Yeah, his fingers aren't cooperating, but that's kind of how you do it. You probably just have to play around with it a little bit, and eventually they'll work. Or I wonder if I don't think it'll work if I pull it back through, so. I don't know. But yeah, you just got to get his claws to cooperate. Once you get his knives cooperating, then he'd be fine. It could be the bands I used, because I think the last time I just used gray, and it seemed to work. And this time I used metallic gray, so the bands are a little stretchier, and obviously not very cooperative. But yeah, so there's Freddy Kruegar for you. So I hope you like him. And subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Thank you. Bye-bye.